Welcome back.
Nope, not welcome back. Well, I guess welcome back. You said you didn't want to say that earlier.
No,
first
that
episode?
is welcome him back. Welcome back.
Oh,
everybody
welcome
else.
back. Okay, go.
Welcome back to Milk and Honeys. This is episode 43. Which is
Crazy.
insane. Everyone's
Crazy.
getting into this shit.
Crazy.
Today we have someone who has somehow combined stand-up, improv, and wrestling into a real thing people are actually paying to see. And now he's taking his concept to Netflix's The Joke Festival next month. No big deal. Again, actor, comedian, creator of, also it's, you say NAW, not N-A-W.
Say whatever you want.
I'll say NAW. I love NAW.
Nah.
Nah, bro. Shane Hartline, welcome.
I would say nah, bro.
Nah, bro.
Nah, bro. That we can say that.
Shane, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm a little offended that Martin Mara was here before me, but we'll talk about that.
Oh, we have Martin. We have ish. Martin, he like got somebody else flowers. You know this whole story with Martin and flowers?
No, I didn't know that. He didn't get you guys flowers. Well, to be fair, I didn't get you an Easter basket. So
I know, you promised
That's okay.
me.
I promised you an
It's
Easter
okay.
basket.
But we met like over a year ago now.
Mhm.
I did a charity event when the
Mhm.
fires broke out in LA, and you were so kind to offer your services and your comedy.
I was happy to do it. I was happy to. You know, with my quote unquote comedy, I hope that like it was you were happy with it. I
You
don't
were
know.
brilliant.
Thanks.
But thank you. I'm glad we met that way.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah.
Now we're besties.
Now we're literally best friends. My best friend that I see only on podcasts or comedy shows.
This is our second or third time ever seeing each other in our entire lives.
Yeah.
But
But
they-
best friends, guys.
Best friends.
That's how it works in Hollywood. You only see your closest friends when you're making something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's okay.
Well, for people who don't know you yet, give us an elevator pitch. Who is Shane Hartline?
Oh my God, that is so much pressure.
I love this.
Shane
question.
Hartline's a little bit of professional wrestling. Shane Hartline is a little bit of stand-up. He's a little bit of improv. He's a little bit of still trying to figure it the fuck out.
Aren't we all?
Today, he's a little bit got a bloodshot eye because he thought at 39 years old he could have one more match.
One more match.
One more match. You know, yeah, I'm a storyteller.
You're a jack of all trades.
I'm a jack easy. I'm a jack jack off all trades.
He's a jack
and
off all trades. Not in here.
Not in here. When the cameras are rolling, that's Patreon content.
Well,
I'm a man of like many interests.
I love that.
And I've never been that type of person that agrees with and I'm curious like how you guys feel about the type of person that's like, oh, you can only do one thing. I think in this business now, like
It's crazy that our last interview was literally
the same
about
thing.
that.
well, then I got to talk about something different.
No,
You know?
honestly, I won't
Okay.
even
Because
repeat
it's the
word for word what
truth.
she said.
It is the truth.
But I
mean,
want to take a little break real quick and go
Yes.
back though. I
Yes.
know you from what I know about you.
Yeah.
But like little Shane, like what did little Shane want to be when he was always your plan to be an entertainer?
Actor, entertainer.
Can you send us photos of you as a child that we can put in this episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
Absolutely. Way cuter than I am now.
No chance.
Dude, come on, Kayla Becker. I look like Kane right now. No, earliest memories, the best thing my parents ever did was let me use their video camera. Like, so for me,
We all made little movies.
I would just shoot little home movies and force anybody that came into my house to watch them because this was before YouTube and
Yeah.
before
sleepovers. You're
Oh.
filming a whole show
a
with
whole
us.
production,
Yes.
a whole anything
Yes.
I would watch on TV, all these things.
Yes.
We would just recreate these skits and sketches. And at the same time, I was so into wrestling. So for me, it was
You've
like,
always been into wrestling.
well, my dad did it briefly in the 80s. And so some of my earliest memories was him watching wrestling with me, seeing the Hulk Hogan's and
Yeah.
the Stings and just, I wanted to do all of it. And, I was fortunate that the Attitude Era, the late 90s was the time like wrestling, like really hooked me. So like when that period happened, I was like, oh, I want to do this. So I started training for wrestling at age 14, 15 and might've been it's a little too early, but here we
We're
are.
gonna get into that a little bit more later in the
Yeah,
interview,
yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
you've wanted to be on camera your entire life.
100%.
Entertaining has always been your thing.
No question.
So your first time ever on a stage,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's small or big, do you remember it? Like, did you like
Okay.
kill it or like bomb?
Well,
Also,
Now,
do
let's
you
get
have, also,
deep-
do you
let's get
have
deep here.
video of it?
Yeah.
Maybe. So it all depends on like, let's get very deep here, Kayla,
Please
Becca.
do. We like getting deep on Milk and
What
Honey's
do you
podcast.
view as a stage? Because to me, it's like a stage can be your
Anything.
grandma's living room, or a
Yes,
stage
exactly.
can be
Your first time
Anything.
performing, period.
my earliest memories. My grandparents, they loved Elvis. So like my first, I think, feeling of doing something and getting a reaction out of people was just doing like, and I was a little chubster kid, so it's just like that would
Same.
probably added to the comedy of me replicating Elvis
Mhm.
performances for my grandparents, and they just loved it. And then that was quickly followed by filming things and showing people them and getting a reaction. So I was just like so quickly realized, oh, this is what I want to do. But you know what's funny? Now that I remember it, way before even this is why I feel like if you're in the arts, if you're like, we all feel like, oh, this is all I want to do.
Yeah.
I know that's so true for me. There's footage, home video footage when I was 2 or 3 years old, multiple clips and like tapes of me going up to the camera and being like, I want to look through it. I want to look into the camera. Why was that in me? You know, I've always been like, oh, it's like, because that was always, that's why I'm here, is to be an entertainer, filmmaker, you know.
And
it
that,
all
and
kind of
that
blends.
something though, like when at
It's
that young,
wild.
you just always know. I think we're all.
Why did I have such a drive to?
But I think we're all very fortunate with that. She's been a professional model for 20 years, dancer, actor. I've always known that I wanted to be on the camera in some capacity, as have you. We've all made careers out of it. There's something so special about that, because so many people go their entire lives not knowing who they want to be or what they want to do.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
It is.
It's in us, I think.
It is in
And I
us.
think when we were younger, you know, we had the opportunity to not have social media. And, you know, it's like I remember taking my parents' like VHS camera, and during summer, 1 year, I remember specifically this year, we filmed like every day we filmed something for this movie, and it was called The Klutz. And it was like basically my younger cousin was like this guy who just wanted to do the best of the best, but he was so klutzy. He was just like,
You made a whole movie.
a whole thing.
I want to see this.
amazing.
And I was the narrator, and he was like the lead person, but we were directing it. And so like
But as kids
anybody,
doing that-
and anybody that spent the night at my house during summer, you're in the Klutz now. Like you're making a
You
cameo.
hand them a script, like
Yeah, like here's what we're doing today.
And how lucky were we, for many reasons? Like, you know what I was thinking about a couple years ago? I was thinking back on the times of like making home videos, and how lucky was I that I was surrounded by like a group of friends that supported it, because we're so impressionable at that age, whether it was our friends or our family, like that we had people that was like supportive of these big ideas that we had. Because I think that had they been like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, stop this shit. Our life likely could have taken a whole different direction.
Very much.
Yeah.
Very much. Absolutely. Yeah, it's such a blessing.
So besides like your wrestling influences, other like big influences like for you growing up?
Oh, so many.
Like
Huge
a comedian, like your first like the first thing you
comedic
watched.
inspirations.
Yeah.
well, obviously Elvis was
Well,
was
not-
He's
I
not a
mean,
comedian, but
my grandparents
I mean-
were. My grandparents were into Elvis. I was like not super into him, but like, you know, the cliche like 90s answers: Jim Carrey, Robin Williams. I was a huge Nickelodeon kid.
Yeah.
You know, like, so everything Nickelodeon I was obsessed with. And then it evolved into making Jackass tapes. And like, so it's just like, you know, my inspirations, Tom Green, he doesn't get enough attention. So all my like inspirations over time changed. But I think as you get older, you start like looking back at the ones that you grasped onto at a young age, and you realized how special they were and how many like little pieces you've pulled from all these people.
Is that made you who you are now?
Yeah. So I think that,
And one day someone's gonna say that about you.
that'd be sick. That'd be really cool.
What kind of comedy did you start with versus what you would say what you do now?
I've always been definitely more of a physical comedian. And I definitely, I would say I still am big time. Like I want to go out, and any opportunity, like Kayla, you could probably attest to this with your show, like any opportunity I get to perform, I like to leave an impression. I like to like, you know, go out, dance with the audience, get physical. I like to, you know, I want to sweat by the end of it, because like, I want to give everything I got for every opportunity, because I do feel like it's just that, like, so many people I think they like so many people with any kind of performance might be quick to judge like, oh, there's only 20, 30 people here.
Yeah.
Why am I going to like kill myself? It's like not about killing yourself. It's just like make the most of every opportunity. So it's truly what I
You
like
never know
to
who's
do.
in that fucking room.
Yes,
Exactly.
it's so true. It's so true. So always been very physical comedian, and I still try to kind of be
And like doing character stuff.
100%.
Do you think a lot of stand-up comedians avoid that though? Because do you think it's harder to do like physical and like character-based comedy?
I think the hardest thing for a stand-up is finding what's most authentic to you, because we get into this business and we're obviously inspired by people and like, we're like, okay, I see how they're doing it. I mean, when I was early on, I only got into stand-up like four-ish years ago, but I did improv for 15, 20 years before that. And when I started doing improv, I was just doing Chris Farley. And so I look back and I'm like, God, what am I doing? But I mean, it's a very common thing to be like, I was inspired by this guy. I just want to replicate everything he was doing. You know, so I think the hardest part of a comedian or an artist, an actor, it doesn't even matter to be a comedian, is to like, you know, I've said this on many platforms, but like peel all the layers of insecurity and bullshit and get to your true voice and your true artist, the true artist within it. You know,
like don't like try to replicate somebody else. Like find out who you are as an artist.
It's really difficult.
And
That's why stand-ups, I think that what they're really trying to say of, you know, it's not as much to me about perfecting jokes or storytelling. It's about just becoming your most comfortable, authentic self on a stage. And I think that's why you hear a lot of times stand-ups say like, it took me 10 years.
Yeah.
I think, wow, yeah, it's obviously the jokes and the stories or whatever you do is important, but it's more just like getting comfortable on a stage and finding your groove and
being you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
and I mean, art's always going to be reused, right? That is a thing. Like you were saying, like the Chris Farley example. It's like you are gonna take and pull from those influences, but it's like you said, finding, okay, I'm gonna take from this influence, but how do I make it myself? And how do I like change it a little bit? Because, you know, just even me coming from a dance background, it's like a lot of times you see dance combos that you love and you're taking some things from those dance routines and putting it into your own, but like making it different. And if you don't, people will call you out.
And everything really starts to bleed into everything. Like I bet if you really dissect your work on a television show or a film, the littlest thing of you moving in a scene, you probably pulled an ounce of that from your dance. So it's just like, I think it's to become a better storyteller and artist. It's like, go out and try everything, you know, because it all just helps.
Absolutely.
The spaghetti against the wall, you know, what
100%.
sticks. We're going to go into NAW in a minute, but beforehand, you were on The Pit, one of the biggest shows in HBO, probably one of the biggest shows in like, period.
Love The Pit.
Tell me, we haven't talked since you got that. How that happened?
The typical route.
And you killed that.
Thank you.
Your range, by the way, is really impressive.
Thank you.
Knowing you and your comedy, and then seeing your performance in that show, I was just like,
I got a lot of pain in me, Kayla, back there. That was, you know, I got the audition, the traditional route. My amazing agents got me that audition, and it was the scenes. It was the, you know, it was, and we didn't know what The Pit was. It was the first season, you know, so I was just like, all right, I'm just going to go for it. I've done a couple of more dramatic parts, but nothing like
that.
My child is dying. Like, you know, so I think I just was like, all right, how do I make this work for me?
Yeah.
Booked it, which was, you know, such a blessing. And then it was 3 days on set, and they were very difficult. They were very difficult, not necessarily like physically difficult, but like emotionally really difficult. But the hardest part, it was a crash course on how can I effectively do this through me, you know? And like, and I felt the first day I went, all right, I'm going to try what I know works for me. And for me, what kind of opens me up is listening to certain music. Okay. It kind of like softens me. It kind of opens me up. I prepped way too early. So like, I realized when I got to set, I was just like, or by the end of that day, I should say, I was just so emotionally exhausted.
Yeah.
And I'm never one of those types, like, I don't necessarily believe in method acting. I think it's sometimes, it can work for a certain storyteller, but like, I think method acting is a bit like, it's a bit what is the word I'm looking for? Like maybe it's just a little bit more your
Oh,
ego
too
trying to be
intense?
like, look how good of an actor I am. It's
Right,
showboaty.
right.
So for me, I was like, all right, I learned day one, and there's nothing wrong with this if you like do it the right way. That when I get to for day 2, which was the big day,
Yeah.
the big scene, I told, I think one of the PAs, I was like, hey, if it's cool, like give me like I know you don't know exact time, but like 30-minute to 40-minute heads up of when we're looking like we're getting close to doing this. Cause that's when I'm going to start prepping myself.
Yes.
So it's like my biggest takeaway from this was, or my biggest were a couple things. You learn your method. You learn what works for you, because I was so happy with what we did, but it wasn't like entirely me. Like Noah Wiley coming up and whispering in my ear that we lost your kid. I'm not kidding, and I'm not even exaggerating the littlest bit. The way he delivered that fucking pierced me. So I was already open, but then that
and it's
take.
like working with other like really good. Oh, how many times is one
Scene
take?
partners, everything.
Was that one take and done? Did you do like more than?
We did about 4 or 5.
You did 4. So also, what's that like? Like doing an emotional scene 4 or 5 times. Being able to pull.
I didn't know how it was going to be.
To pull that emotion. Like I've done a crying scene, and when the first take is done, I'm like, I'm not crying again. Like
what I feel like, well, there was challenges, and then there was like, I think that it was written brilliantly. Like
that's
insane.
So good.
But there were challenges in that scene specifically. There was a moment of hope, and then immediately we lose her. But what was helpful is, we're sitting in the hospital with our kid that could be dying. So we're already in a place of emotion.
Yeah.
We didn't have to like have immediate tears. So that made it, I don't want to say easier, but like to be able to just be in that space made it a little bit easier. I lost my train of thought. You were just asking.
Just like how difficult 4 times trying to do that same scene.
So, I mean, we would just had to do it, and then they would give us a moment to kind of like collect ourselves.
Yeah.
There was one take, I think it was my first take. It was a little bit of like, I kind of wish they used this take, and then I'm kind of glad they didn't.
Yeah.
I'm like hysterically crying. I got like snot coming out of my nose, but I'm like, no, that's real shit. If somebody lost their kid, you'd be fucking losing your mind.
Yes, absolutely.
So there's a part of me that's not glad they used a take, but we did about 4 or 5 takes.
I think the take they used was very realistic, because
it
I think
was beautiful.
Also, I mean, I've never obviously, but like the shock and like not process.
Then how lucky was I to just like, we've done so many jobs. I'm sure you guys have done jobs where it's like you have a partner in a scene, and it's might not have chemistry. You might not click. And that is when the real work has to kick in.
Yes.
Me and Marcy, played my wife.
Yes.
Couldn't have had more chemistry. Like she was just so open. She's like, I feel like we went in the trenches together.
Right.
Like, and everybody was really happy. Like the writer, the director, everyone came up and was just like so happy. And when they're happy, it's like,
of course,
all right, I feel really good about what
you did your job.
I did my job. Past that, that's all I can do.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Do you think that acting on a show like that is less pressure or more pressure than kind of stand up, or is it?
Oh, that's an interesting
because
question.
Stand up, you can you bomb on your own, but you can like blame the writers if you like
I feel like the longer I do this shit, everything just. It's all stages to me. Everything is a stage. It's just depending on like what brush are you painting with this evening.
Right.
So, there's pressure all the time, but it's just prepping yourself, putting in the work. It's like
different pressure too,
nonstop.
right?
Preparing, like prepping.
Prep.
And a lot of people don't prep.
It's like going to the gym. Like if you're being asked to go lift a 100-pound weight and you've never been to the gym before, it's going to be fucking hard.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
So, acting classes till the day you die. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's now talk about NAW, bro. Let's now
we cannot do the bro.
I'm trying to make it work.
Trying to make something work.
I use bro in my like normal vocabulary, so I think sometimes she tries to, and it's like it's not it, bro.
It's
you
like,
know what I mean?
Like trying to make fetch happen.
Stop trying to make fetch
So
happen.
NAW stands for Nearly Average Wrestling. For those who don't know, let's go back to your actual wrestling background though before we get into the show.
Yeah.
Like, is everyone up to speed?
So I guess I started my first official. You
talk like us. We can't we like fuck up words all the time.
You're in the right place.
You're in the right. Yeah.
Good. We're human. We're real people.
Real people.
My first official like independent wrestling match, I was 17.
Okay.
And
Wow.
then 4 or 5 years, I did it full time. I mean, when friends of mine in high school were like out partying, I was out being beat the shit out of by men like twice my age.
Yeah.
And I quickly realized I wrestled as a character named Rip Malibu, who was a surfer.
Oh, I love
I looked-
that.
I'm screaming.
Hey,
I was
Rip
di-
Malibu
Did you say
right
that?
here, folks.
Did you always do that?
I was I did that a little bit. I wore puka necklaces. I
Oh,
wore
Yes,
my
you're
gosh.
such a millennial.
I
Do you highlight your hair?
I did.
You had the tips.
I went to tanning beds. I looked very different.
Again, photos, please.
Yes, you got it.
They'll
This
be
is
on.
amazing. I love this.
But I quickly realized that I like the storytelling side of wrestling a bit more than like all the other bullshit, as you know, that comes with being a part of the wrestling business. So 2004, 5, I think it was 2005, a little site called YouTube popped up. And I was like, oh, this is a game changer for me. Because I, at the same time, was still making videos, shooting stuff with my friends. So then I started putting stuff out on YouTube and getting views for things we were doing. And like, I got my first agent and all these opportunities started coming because at the time, nobody was doing anything on YouTube. So that was what took my heart and my attention completely. I'm still involved with wrestling today. I wrestled my first match in 8 years the other day. And
I want to do a compilation of the amount of times we're going to zoom in the eye.
yeah, I came today. I was like, can we hide my eye? And I'm just talking about it nonstop.
Front and center.
No, I wrestled again a couple days ago. So it's like what they do say about wrestling is true. Once you're involved in that business, there's just like something that you're always a part of it.
You can't get out.
You can't
Trust
get
me,
out
I've
of
been
it.
trying.
It's a circus.
Yeah.
It's a circus. But what's great about, creating Nearly Average Wrestling is like, it's my circus. This is my circus now. So I'm in like full control of it. And holy shit, we're having so much
I know
fun.
you are.
You did one of our first shows.
I know.
I was there.
She was there. She came.
I was in the audience.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Thank you
we
so
had
much.
so much
That was
fun.
almost a year ago.
I
That's
know.
crazy.
And I love that he asked me like almost like every month to come back. And I'm like, I'm so busy.
Yeah.
I'm not busy.
Booked
I'm
and busy.
busy.
She booked and busy.
I really
But-
do want to be a part of like what you're,
Please.
Actually throw her in there. That'd be
Open
funny.
door.
Oh
I
my
should have
gosh.
you both on as a
We
Milk and Honey's,
should. Oh my God. Milk and
Desert
Honey's
Kids, Milk and Honey's.
judges.
That would actually be really funny.
Done.
I'm in. I'm in.
Little collab.
But what did wrestling teach you about performance that maybe comedy didn't? Like, what did you take away from that to help you
Because
in
wrestling,
Yeah.
wrestling
this
teaches you a
journey?
lot. I feel like that's even like how I was able to do comedy.
I don't
wrestling.
know. What my guts, that's a really good question. I'll probably have a lot better of an answer as I'm laying in bed this evening. But wrestling humbled me. Like it really did. It taught me a lot of patience. There's a lot of little things, I think, like it taught me how to be a little more present with my body. It taught me a different kind of storytelling. But again, I don't, looking back on it 20 years later, it's like, again, it should just be looked at as a different kind of stage. That you learn a different kind of storytelling.
Would you say like wrestling's like kind of the best kind of improv though?
It truly is, to me, the ultimate form of theater. To me, it's like, what other show combines literally everything?
Everything.
Mhm.
I think
Everything.
even like in Hollywood now, thank God that somebody's not controlling WWE anymore. It's become way more mainstream. Like people are coming in Hollywood. Directors, producers love working with wrestlers because you can do one take, live, do all your stunts. It's a very like unique kind of performance.
You're the ultimate performer.
You can do anything.
Mhm,
Exactly.
mhm.
People don't realize that.
I do think, and I don't know, this might ruffle some feathers. This might
Feathers.
We
retake.
love this.
Retake. This might ruffle some feathers. And I
Thank God
wonder
it's
if
not
you
me.
agree with this being involved with the WWE. I do feel like the one field that most wrestlers neglect is the mic skills.
True, because
I
they rely
think that-
heavily on.
That, that's the thing I think that is so intimidating for wrestlers, aspiring wrestlers. So for me, that was the thing that was always more fun to me.
Being
and
on
it
the
was
mic?
the safest.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think, that's a whole different conversation.
It's a very fair assessment because like some of the biggest like collegiate or like Olympic wrestlers don't translate in the ring because if you can't talk on the mic, which is like Paul Heyman is so successful because he's the
Oh
mic.
my God. One of the best.
My guy.
One of the best of all time.
Paul.
But what a better reason to then come as an aspiring wrestler to NAW Never and put your name in the bucket and cut a promo, work on your promo skills.
Mm-hmm.
What happened over there? What just happened?
I was just fixing her mic for her. I felt like it was a little. It was like a little under her chin.
I'm learning so much about you guys.
I'm like, I don't know. I could just feel Mark in the other room be like, fix your mic, Kayla. Fix your mic. Fix your mic. Fix your mic.
I'm the same way though. I'll be shooting a sketch or something, and I'm in it, and I'm also adjusting lights or micro directing.
Yeah, she's.
I can't help it.
I try.
No,
okay, let's go back to NAW though. So when the idea first popped into your head.
Yeah, I mean, we were a couple months before that shooting wrestling content. We were doing these like
the little
writers' room videos that was getting a lot of attention. Man, those were so fun. We have one that's cooking here soon, and I hope it comes to fruition. But anyways,
we're also ADD in this room.
I know.
Yeah.
All of us are.
But
every guest.
So we were like, I was kind of like, doing all this wrestling content, and I had this idea on the side of like, I was very inspired by Drewski and Drewski's Could Have Been Records.
Yeah.
This like creating this world of this fictional but not fictional record company where he held these auditions. And I was like, man, this is like a content machine.
Yeah.
Nothing is being done like this in wrestling.
Right.
So I started like developing the idea, and the name was so important to me. It took me like 4 months to come up.
How many other names like did you like have?
My God. I could go through my phone. It almost was nearly All-Star Wrestling, but like
was not always like the
acronym? I mean,
okay,
that took me a long time to find the
acronym
or acronym.
You have like 3 letters probably always, right?
Yes, of course. And then when I came up with NAW, I was like, well, that kind of already tells a little bit of a story.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I broke it down even further and then spent a lot of time on the logo. And then past that, it was initially only going to be like similar to Drewski started. He was just doing his Could Have Been Record auditions on his Instagram. Just like he'd pop on Instagram Live and just do these auditions. And it was so simple. And I was like, I love the simplicity of that. So we started as that. And we actually just relaunched on Twitch. We're doing weekly auditions every Monday night on Twitch, which is so fun. And it's just like, I want that to be like just a virtual component of the in-person experience. But we quickly like had like an opportunity present itself to do it in person. Las Vegas was our first one last year. And then we went to the Elysian. Elysian is such a great place to do it. And now we're kind of hopping around, testing other places. But it's evolved every show.
It's so cool.
It really is.
A year in though, like, you realize how insane it is. You've blown up this much.
We were talking beforehand, and I'll kind of explain what the show is after this for those that don't know what the hell we're talking about. But
no, bro.
We don't have to say that. We were talking beforehand, and like I was just on NPR on Friday talking about NAW.
That's crazy, Shane.
And I gotta be very vulnerable. I still deal with imposter syndrome sometimes.
Of course.
And I'm sitting there. NPR is like a prestigious platform. And I'm like,
everyone knows NPR.
What the hell am I doing here talking about NAW? It's wild. They contacted my manager. They came to you. They contacted us. And it's like in moments like that, I'm like, I got a little emotional as the interview was starting because I'm just like, holy shit, this is connecting. And I tried to like quiet that imposter syndrome voice in me to like, it's almost like, I don't know. We all struggle with it.
Well, it's interesting. It's like imposter syndrome. I feel like it's that feeling of anxiety, but we have to remember that anxiety and excitement are the two of the same feelings.
They're the same thing.
Except our brain triggers each
we
start
one or the other.
So it's like, if it's anxiety, it's the same exact feeling of excitement. But if your
100%.
mind is like, then it goes to that way,
100%.
you know? So
Absolutely.
it's like, you're just excited about this.
And also you creating something that nobody else has done is also, that's terrifying. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's taken notes from other things, but in wrestling, there's nothing like this.
Yeah.
So like for those of you watching that are like, what are we talking about? So the show is called NAW Never. It's what we're calling a smack talk open mic. Essentially, you come to the show either virtually or in person. You put your name in the bucket. If you get pulled, you get 60 seconds to come on stage, cut a promo, showcase your talents and abilities. At the end of the show, a panel of judges, which Kayla has been one of the judges. Milk and Honey is going to be future judges. The judges pick the 2 best promos of the night, performances of the night, to then go head to head, and the winner gets a NAW contract. I do contract in quotes because we don't pay you with money. We pay you with clout and exposure,
Mhm.
which we say is worth more in 2026 than actual money.
Mhm.
Love that.
Argue me that it's not. No, but that is in a nutshell what NAR never is.
It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Thanks.
So when did you realize? At what point? How many shows in are you now?
This is the in-person shows we've done like 12, I think.
Okay. So
Yeah.
when did you realize it was clicking?
Oh, I don't know. I just think every show gets a little bit better.
Yeah.
I don't know
You feel
that
like more people are trying to be a part of it now?
what I love is like looking out in the audience and seeing like, oh, there's like 4 or 5 people out there in full costume that aren't like staged bits. They're
Yeah.
coming to the show because they're starting to understand what this is. It's starting to become a little bit of a karaoke atmosphere.
Yeah.
The last show,
Yeah.
there was like a couple that came up and cut promos on each other. Like you can come up as like a tag team. You can do literally whatever you want. And that's the atmosphere I want to create is like, yes, you can be an aspiring wrestler and treat this as a workout for a character. You can be a comedian that wants to test a character a bit and ultimately get like free footage. But you can also just like have been out for drinks and want to like talk smack on your fucking boyfriend. Like I want it to be anything and everything. You know what I mean? And that every show, it becomes more of that infused with the insane antics.
Yeah.
That wasn't there a raptor on the show that you did?
Yes. Oh my God. That was
So
that
like
was
sometimes
amazing.
we have a raptor just pop out.
The dinosaur. that
Yes.
came out
Oh,
there.
I saw the
yeah.
raptor. Trust
So,
me. But you've also had legit comedians
Oh my
and
God.
wrestlers
You had
as
big names
judges.
come in.
You know,
Ron
Kayla,
Funches,
obviously,
Kayla
I mean, the
Becker.
biggest name you
included.
ever,
How-
your best
Top of the
judge.
list, Kayla Becker.
How are you getting those people involved? Like, do they?
Kayla took a lot of bribing. Kayla, I'm still paying back this like.
That's right. Damn it.
I'm on a payment plan to pay back Kayla's appearance fee, but no, like truly, I've been fortunate. 15 years out here that I've met so many people, and there's so much excitement behind it that it's just a lot of like, well, I know this person that might be interested. Let me connect you.
Right.
And I've been so fortunate, and like we've got an amazing cast of people that are also excited to present those opportunities, like Martin Morrow, Eddie Torres. Like there's just I could go through everybody, and I'm so fortunate to have so many people on our cast that are kicking their asses every show to make this just something special and different. So a lot of different ways we're like having all these amazing people be involved.
And it's got like feel like even like we talked with CJ, Lana, character in WWE for a long time,
Might be coming on the show
one of the
soon.
biggest names. But even like this morning, she texted me immediately this morning out of nowhere, asking about getting connected with you.
Oh, that's amazing.
Because she's hearing so much about your show.
Oh,
And like that's like incredible feeling, people like that to that caliber who are watching you and what you're doing and want to be a part of it.
Right.
I think the thank you. I mean, that's the hardest part is I'm feeling, with like everything that's happening, like the NPR, LA Times, like all these eyes, all this attention. I'm feeling pressure, like, but I just have to remind myself, like, just keep doing what we're doing. Just keep doing what we're doing because people are having a good time. And I think that as long as we make that atmosphere welcoming and fun and like a little bit of a party, like that's going to make people want to keep coming and doing it.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
I mean, you already had, like you said, people reaching out to you to say, how can they be on this and be a part of it? What are some of your dream people that you would want to be a part of now?
Yeah, your top 3 that you could bring on.
Top 3?
Yeah.
Oh, don't do this to me. Okay, top 3. Macaulay Culkin, number 1.
Oh my God.
I love that.
He's
I
a
love
wrestling
that.
fan
No, I
too,
love
so-
that.
I think it has to happen at some point. We introduced a bit at
We're
the
going to
previous
tag him.
We introduced a bit at the previous show called the Culk Chair. And the Culk Chair is a show that it's a chair we started to put out at every show.
Okay.
Every show there's an open door, Macaulay Culkin. You can come and be a part of our show without warning, without advance notice. Anytime, Macaulay Culkin's always welcome. Second, I am
Was
the
his
biggest.
brother invited too, or just him?
I don't want any other Culkin but Macaulay. No. All Culkins are welcome. The Culk Chair is welcome to all Culkins. I'm the biggest Sting mark on the planet.
Okay.
One of, so Sting number 2.
Doable.
Sting number 2. Man, who would be a fun number 3? There's so many. I have like a dream list. Like a Jack Black, maybe?
Oh,
like,
he'd fucking be amazing.
Gosh,
Right?
he would be
Like,
amazing.
but that third spot is so interchangeable with
Of
so many
course,
people that
of
I'm
course.
inspired by. So that's like
Give us a list. We can like tag all of them when we post this clip.
Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt only because I used to do a comedy show about him, and so many other people, Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Undertaker would be fun.
Undertaker, Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, just write all this out for us. Again, we're gonna put
Yeah.
We're manifesting this right now.
Yeah,
Will Ferrell.
Oh my gosh, Will
Seth
Ferrell.
Rogen.
I think this time next year, it's a very big possibility. All this
Yes.
Oh my
stuff
God,
happen.
so many more people. that
Will
I'll probably
Ferrell
forget.
and Seth Rogen. Oh my
It'd be
gosh,
amazing. It'd be
And
amazing.
now,
Milk and
fast
Honey's
forward,
podcast,
Netflix is a joke festival.
May
Yes.
6th.
People around the fucking globe are like coveting for a spot in this festival,
Mhm.
and you, a year in to this creation of yours, has a fucking spot on this stage. That is incredible.
It's very, I don't take it for granted. I recognize like how insane of an opportunity this is.
Yes.
And again, it's like one of those things like, all right, pressure's on, but like we just have to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. When I got that email.
Yeah. Well, also the back up.
Oh my God.
Walk us through that process.
So somebody came and saw one of our shows. I think it was the February Legion show.
Okay.
Somebody came and saw it and they're like, I'm gonna, I know somebody, I'm gonna like put in a word. You hear things like this all the time. It was like a week later and they're like, here's an offer. And I couldn't believe it. Like, I was just so like, to be like very vulnerable. Like these are the kinds of opportunities and like in comedy that, again, with like imposter syndrome and always wanting to feel like a part of the cool kids club. Like I've always wanted to be included in this dance, like this is one of those like comedy opportunities that so many people would die to be a part of. And so I'm just very grateful to be a part of this. Like,
so huge.
yeah, it's really cool. May 6th, it's going to be, it's our 1 year anniversary show. And
oh my God. Also,
Yeah.
our May 5th
Wait,
is our
ours
1 year
is May
anniversary.
5th.
Stop.
That's so
Stop.
fun.
Stop
Wait,
it.
should we pop in on your show?
Yeah.
We should do like a
Yes.
joint
Do a
after
collab.
party or
We should
something.
I would love
actually.
that.
Yeah, I don't know why I just did that. I don't like that.
So back to the Twitch thing.
Yeah,
You already launched it, right?
Yeah, at the time of this recording, it'll be happening.
Okay.
Yeah, or time that this comes out.
And again, the
Yeah.
reason is just like bring more people in.
Yeah, so every Monday night on Twitch, we're literally doing the same thing. We've built a virtual NAW Wrestling arena that people can you can log in, become a part of the show virtually. You audition. It's the same thing virtually. So we'll have like what's really exciting about doing this weekly is it like presents the opportunity to have virtual judges and like every Monday night we're calling like NAW after 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific. Just nearlywrestling.com will take you to the links and stuff. So.
And is this going to be more unhinged than the live?
It'll
Or do you
be
think
a little more tame just
a
because
little
of
more
like
tame?
it would, like I don't know what you can or can't get away with on Twitch. We'll obviously like push the envelope a little bit.
Of course.
The IRL experience is going to always be a
the-
little more.
Of course.
Has
Of
to be.
course.
Has to be.
Well, before we go, I know you also have, a lot of passion for a cause that you want to also represent.
Yeah.
Also, I feel so bad I'm mispronouncing
No.
this.
No.
You have it. You
Yeah.
got it.
Spasmodic
Spasmodic
Yes.
dysphonia.
Yep. You nailed it.
Talk about how that has also like been a part of your being an entertainer and a comedian and a
100%. So Spasmodic Dysphonia, it's such a relatively new condition. They kind of discovered it in like the 70s, I think. But it's like a sister condition to Parkinson's.
Mhm.
But what's interesting about spasmodic dysphonia, one of the things that's interesting is it only affects your speech muscles when Parkinson kind of can affect anything and everything.
okay.
Right.
So for spasmodic dysphonia, it affects the muscles around the vocal cords, and it can affect them in one of three ways. It can either constrict them uncontrollably, pull them apart uncontrollably, or do a little bit of both. For me, it pulls them apart uncontrollably. So if you listen to my speech, sometimes it sounds a little breathy here and there. It's gotten a lot better. Most people get it when they're like 50. Fortunately for me, I guess God loves me. I got it when I was 5 years old.
Oh,
So it was this thing when I was like 5 years old that happened literally out of nowhere. I was in choir and we were going around a circle doing notes and it just happened. Some people get it. It's triggered from traumatic incidents.
Mhm.
I had a great childhood. Nothing happened. So it literally just happened to me and
Mhm.
it can happen to people. Very rare that it happened to a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm like one of 3 people that doctors have ever even
Wow.
heard of that got it at such a young age. But as you can imagine, it started presenting some challenges.
Mhm.
As I got older, for a few years, my parents were like, well, I guess his voice is changing, happening kind of
Puberty,
young.
yeah.
And then when I got to the age where your voice should be changing,
Like, oh,
his voice
there's
is
something.
changing. And then it's not, this is
Yeah.
happening way too long.
Right.
Went to an ear, nose, throat doctor. They're like, oh yeah, he has spasmodic dysphonia. Little weird that he does have it. The only temporary treatment is Botox injections into your vocal cords.
Oh God.
Wow.
So unfortunately right now for people that suffer from spasmodic dysphonia, and I say suffer, not that I suffer. I'm very much an anomaly that I don't know how I've been able to get it to such a mild case of the
Yeah.
condition. The only thing I can attribute to it is just because it's a neurological condition.
Mm-hmm.
I've put myself obviously in this business in a ton of environments that are intimidating, that are terrifying for some people. So I think it's truly for me personally,
Exposures.
exposure therapy in a
Yep.
sense of I'm growing new kind of muscles around what would trigger a lot of other people.
Right.
Also, that's incredible. Like to speak on that. I'm like,
Yes.
So flash forward a bit, going through my middle school, high school is very fucking difficult.
mm,
But I found out quickly, if I changed my voice, it eliminates it. So I was like, that's another reason why comedy kind of was a blessing to me, is because I was like, oh, speeches in class are terrifying. Can I do it as an impression of the teacher or an impression of anybody? They're like,
Wow.
yeah, I guess. So it always was like a way around the tough things for me in life. And then over the years, it's just jumping into the entertainment business. It's gotten easier and easier. In 2018, I made a short film about the condition called Cookie. And that was the first time I ever spoke publicly about having
Wow.
it. So for my whole life before that, I was terrified to talk about it. Only
Mhm.
because I was like, well, if somebody in the business knows that I have this, they're not going to hire me for
Yeah.
something, even though I'd been hired for things all the time before that. Now I'm kind of if you hire me, you know what you're getting. If you
Right.
hire me, this is how I paint. And
Right.
fuck off if you're going to be I
Exactly.
need you to say this exactly like
Yep.
this.
What helped
So-
you push through that? Mentally.
moments like that?
Yes.
It's gotten a lot easier. It's
Mhm.
still sometimes I was on a commercial shoot the other day and I was like, oh, this is one of those that they're they want me to say it a certain way.
Yeah.
And so a little anxiety kicks in, not as extreme. It used to be debilitating anxiety.
Mm.
It's just gotten easier. It's
I
just
love
gotten
that.
easier. And
It's
I
just
think
a part of you.
it's a part of me and it's getting better with the more that I own it.
Mhm.
So as hard as it is, I think anybody with this condition, that is the hardest first step. I think with anything we struggle with, not
Right.
just a vocal condition, with literally anything, if these are the cards you're dealt, it fucking sucks. But the hardest part is to just accept the cards and start to
Yep.
embrace it and make it a part of your the way you tell your
And even
story.
people watching who might have going through the exact same thing as you,
Yeah.
you're helping them.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, I work with their foundation,
Yep.
dysphonia.org. If you want to learn
Yes.
more about the condition, if you want to contribute,
Absolutely.
raise awareness, because it's also still something I mean, you guys probably didn't even know about it.
No.
So that's two more people know. So that's really
Yes.
fucking cool. And yeah, so any opportunity I can get, I want to try to take, to tell people about it.
You're so great, Shane.
I love that.
All right, we're doing a quick little few more questions, a little rapid fire. When you look at everything you've done at this point in your life, what are you the most proud of?
Oh, being a stormtrooper, being in Star Wars, truly was, well, it should be being a good son, being a good dog dad.
No.
In my
Stormtrooper, edit that out.
career and life, two different things.
Yeah.
Stormtrooper.
Career, being a stormtrooper will always be the coolest fucking thing I've ever got to do.
Yes.
In my life, I got a great dog. I've got a great family. I've got great friends. Getting to do my NAW show and then bring in all my friends
Yeah.
on opportunity like Netflix and all
Yeah.
these crazy opportunities is truly the most fulfilling thing.
I love
Truly.
You have
that.
a lot to be proud of.
Okay. And what still scares you?
Not. Let me think about how to answer this the right way. I want to do so much in this business.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I'll get very real about that answer.
Mhm.
I had a little, nothing to be alarmed, nothing to worry about. I had a little health scare a couple weeks ago and I went to the emergency room because I'm I just want to, be sure, be a smart boy. And I'm sitting in the emergency room and it wasn't anything that would have taken me out of the game of anything for too long, but it
Yeah.
could have. You just never know. Getting surgery can X amount of time to do anything. So I'm my first gut reaction was, fuck, I have so much I want to do right now. So I think truly it's that is like, I don't want anything to happen in my life, like get hurt, die, literally anything, because there's still so much I want to do.
Yeah.
Still so much I want to do.
Well,
I agree with that.
Last question, dream scenario. If everything works out, when you are daydreaming about the peak of everything, what is it?
Oh man. NAW is really successful. We're touring it around the country, doing it in theaters, arenas. From that, I get to host SNL.
Yes.
From that, I get to do spots in the WWE. From that, I get to make movies with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at NAW as kind of like a platform to raise exposure for everything I've already been doing.
Yeah.
And I think that like, that's the thing that's tough is like you can have all the talent in the world. It's just the hardest component is like getting people to see you. And so if you need to create a brand, a platform, a podcast, whatever it may be, to be like, I've already been here.
Yeah.
I've been here for decades, kicking ass doing this.
Oh yeah.
And now you see it. And what's great about what I bring this up only continually. It's like, I have always, if you look back at everything I've done, I've always wanted to include my friends. I just like making things with my friends.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are doing this together.
Yes.
It's the fucking best.
It is.
It really
So it's
is.
like, if I get to do NAW and bring my friends with me and like also showcase them, that's the dream.
That's the dream. Shane Hartline, everybody. Nah, bro, this was the best thing. The last time I'll try it.
Still
If
gonna
she
workshop
says
that.
that
Thank you
one
so
more
much for coming
time,
on,
he's
though.
going to throw
Honestly,
his beer at
I'm
her.
very, very proud of you.
Oh my
So
God. Thank you
impressed
so
by
much.
you.
I'm proud of you guys.
I'm honored that
Thank
you
you.
allowed me to be a part of your,
Ain't gonna be the
even
last
one
time.
It won't be.
Well, it might be
No.
if you keep pushing this NAW bro
Exactly.
like, slogan. I don't know.
Sometimes Kayla just doesn't get
Don't
it. She
give
doesn't
me
know
a
how to read the
live
room,
mic.
I
you know?
will make a shirt for you the next time you
Oh,
come
that'd be
says
fun,
NAW bro.
bro.
Yeah.
I'll put a
my
promo too about
gosh.
it.
Sick.
Well,
Let's
you
do
can
yes.
you can watch everywhere on YouTube and stream wherever you get your favorite
And your
podcasts.
social media.
Yeah, just search Shane Hartline on socials, nearlywrestling.com for tickets and links to
And then May
everything.
the 6th.
May 6th if you're in Los Angeles. Get your tickets early. Like getting tickets early, not just for our thing, but for your friends' things. It always helps. So please get your tickets.
Yeah, support your comedians.
Exactly.
Support your friends.
Support your
And you
friends.
guys, don't forget, your favorite ingredients to the best tasting tea in town is milk and honeys. I hope you guys have the best day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.